Many men do not have long memories, and you guys easily forget all the pain and suffering your exes put you through to the point where you've had to search for answers. In my days, I've seen women break men that did everything to make them happy, and guess what? None of it was ever enough for the woman. They would always find something to complain about and eventually end up cheating on the guy, or just decided that he didn't serve any more purpose and either dumped or divorced raked him to kingdom come. I know that some of you guys say that you're never returning to the plantation and you're going your own way. Then 6 months later, I hear some of you guys are back in relationships and you believe this girl is different. Let me tell you something, most men are one blow job away from the plantation, even myself. So I understand the feeling of wanting to have someone who's yours and is willing to be loyal, submissive, and cooperative. But always remember, she has that dog in her. The woman who you're with highly likely isn't different. She is either playing a role to get what she wants from you, or she just doesn't see the reason to start acting up because you are in the early stages of the relationship. Regardless, you cannot allow yourself to become weak and fall back into the trap of relationships. You have to remember the pain that you went through and how much she took from you. You must remember the amount of money and time you lost because your wife decided she wasn't happy. You have to remember that your ex-girlfriend was bouncing on another man's dating stick, and when it slipped out, she grabbed onto it, put it right back into her sweet watery guts, and continued to bounce on it until she bust. Gents, you cannot afford to let yourself become weak and think it will be different this time because nothing has changed but your perspective on life. Look, gents, the truth is this. The RP is just a philosophy that aims to expose the truths hidden in society. And with that truth, you then decide the best way to navigate yourself through this quote-unquote matrix. But the RP alone cannot save you from effing up your life regarding women. Just like how most people know how to lose weight, and we still have people walking around here looking like the number 8. So don't think that knowledge alone is enough to save your life. You must have discipline and your own philosophy on how you want to deal with women and stick to it. That's it. But always remember that at any moment, the devil can send a wolf in sheep's clothing into your life, and we find you torn up by the wayside crawling back to the RP after it's too late. So let me give you 3 reasons why you should never go back into a relationship, and then let's end it with a story of a woman who blames her young daughter for busting up her marriage with a man in the military. And by the way, guys, smash that like button if you guys are standing firm and not going back to the plantation. The first reason why you should never get back into a relationship is because it will fail eventually. I've said this in countless videos and I'll repeat it to set you guys straight. 99% of all relationships fail. And if you don't believe me, then do the paper test. Get a piece of paper and write down the names of all the people you've ever been with intimately or who you were in a relationship with. Add up all the names and write the number you get down. Next, write the names of people that you are currently with. Add up all the names and write down the number you get. Lastly, compare the 2 numbers. Most people will end up being with 1 or 0 persons in their lives, either a 100 or a 99% failure rate. So why would you go back into another relationship just for it to end a few months or years down the road? That makes absolutely no sense to me. If you're that lonely and want a companion, get a pet. The pet will likely live longer than most of your guys' relationships. The second reason why you should never go into another relationship is because nothing is going to change. I know a lot of guys are hopeful that the girl you're with will never do those things that your ex did to hurt you, but trust me, most of them will. Some of you guys will have a good thing going until she decides she's not happy and kicks you to the curb. However, most of you guys will get torn to shred by the girl you think will never do that to me. The girl you're with will probably be bouncing on another man's dating stick in the relationship. She's probably going to go to a girls' night out with her friends and get her back blown out by 6'4" giga Chad she met on Tinder. She'll probably use you to take a break from the CC and rest that peace leave from getting threaded like car tires. And she'll probably lie and manipulate you the entire relationship while playing you for a fool. I know you guys don't want this to happen, but it will probably end up like that until she cheats and leaves you for someone better. Accept it, gents. Women have no reason to change, and good women are few and far between, so you're left with flat-out 304s and girls that will dabble in debauchery, so keep that in mind. The third reason why you should never get into another relationship is because the juice isn't worth the squeeze. A lot of men are expected to give, and what they get back in return is poor treatment. Most times, your boo won't appreciate what you did for her and the sacrifices you made to make her happy. Men, you can't make women happy. That's not your job in the relationship. You have your role and duty to fulfill, and she has her roles and duty to fulfill. But let me ask you, what are you guys getting back in return when you're in relationships? Most of you guys get the bare minimum, and you're just happy to be there. She doesn't serve you or do her chores without complaining. She's not giving you guys sex on demand later in the relationship, and she doesn't wash, cook, and clean for you. So why the hell are you guys going into relationships? Please answer that question, because many of you guys really and truly get treated like dirt, and you're still with the broad. Guys, leave the plantation if that's the deal you signed up for, because I guarantee you it won't get better the longer the relationship goes on. I hope you guys take my words to heart and leave the plantation alone. Like Coach Greg Adams said, freedom comes at a cost, so being alone and single is the cost of freedom in this case. You might not get to have the woman who will treat you right and love you, but you'll have what you really want: peace, quiet, and freedom by staying away from relationships and focusing on yourself. The free agent lifestyle is the philosophy I choose to live by. By far, it has been the best decision I've ever made up to this point in my life. Whether you've gone your own way or monk mode, you guys are appreciated in our community, so continue to hold the line and not live your life for a woman. Do I wish I could have gotten the girl who treats me right, is loyal, submissive, and cooperative, while I can have my peace, quiet, and freedom? Definitely, but that is never going to happen, and I'm going to try and die alone on my own terms because, as I've said, freedom comes at a cost. Alright gents, story time exposing these modern-day 304s. The title of this story is Lost My Soldier Husband Because I Cheated. So let's dive into it. I am 35 years old and I have 2 children. I was married to their father, but now we are divorced. I got involved with another man while my husband served in the military. I never thought that that would happen to me. I grew up in the church and was taught to be faithful to my spouse. This man with whom I got involved was a charmer. My husband called me every day, but this other man visited me and brought me gifts. One day, my daughter saw him kissing me. I was not aware that she saw us. When her father called, that was the first thing she told him. She was only 8 years old. I denied it, but he could tell me more than I thought because my daughter told him. When I told him she was lying, my daughter said the man had his hands under my skirt. Pastor, that was the truth. My husband is a great, very intelligent man, and I love seeing him in his uniform. The man I fell for is a nice guy, but my ex is superior to him. He told me he would not forgive me. I tried to make up with him when he came home for a break. He asked me one question: "Did you go to bed with this guy?" I pretended I did not hear the question, and he repeated it. "Did you go to bed with this guy?" I said yes and started to cry, and he told me it was over. Alright gents, do you see how lie these 304s are and how manipulative they can be? Her daughter caught her red-handed and thankfully exposed her cheating ass to her husband, and she was willing to die with the lie if that meant she could have her cake and eat it too. That's why I tell you always to assume that everything that comes from their mouth is a lie and watch their actions. But in this case, the guy is in a long-distance relationship, and you guys know how big of a failure those are. And he's in the military. My military brothers, leave relationships alone. You guys always get ran over by your women when you're away on duty. And by the way, have you ever noticed that when women get caught, they can instantly turn on the fake crocodile tears? Don't fall for it, guys. It's all manipulation to get you to feel sorry for them. Let's continue. My husband was home for 2 weeks and never asked me for sex during those 2 weeks. Finally, I begged him to give me a special goodbye. No disrespect to you, Pastor, but I had to do everything for myself while he lay there in bed. It wasn't pretty. I am writing you now to ask how I can get my husband back. The relationship I had with the man that caused him to divorce me is not working out. He just turned out to be a womanizer. My husband talks to me much better these days. However, he said he doesn't have any feelings for me anymore. He also said that he does not have any woman in his life. Sometimes I say to myself that my daughter caused my husband and myself to break up. I know I was careless, but my daughter shouldn't have been there where that man and I were. She was only 8 years old. She did not have to tell her father that she saw this man kissing me. When she told her father what she saw, I was tempted to spank her, but I told myself that would only make matters worse. My daughter and her father are very close. He sometimes helps her with her schoolwork online. I know I am asking you a lot, but please tell me how to get back my husband. Gents, this is what happens when monkey branching fails, and the grass that was greener on the other side turned out to be drier than the Sahara Desert. I love how the husband handled the situation and divorced her ungrateful and disgusting butt. She blew up her family because she wanted to be out here in these streets, and I hope no other man ever marries her again. I want her to suffer the consequences of her decision and live the rest of her life with that regret. She doesn't regret cheating. She only regrets getting caught. Always remember that, gents, so don't feel sorry for her. And she has the nerve to blame the daughter after she was the one who decided to be in these streets and gobble salami. You can't make this ish up. You really can't. Tap that thumbs up button and subscribe for more hard-hitting RP content and stories exposing these modern 304s. The link to our PayPal and Cash App is in the description box below if you want to support the channel. Even $1 will be appreciated because we know time is a little tough right now. And remember, gents, never go back to the plantation. The juice isn't worth the squeeze.